Hi, everybody, on this beautiful day. It has been raining here since New Year's in California. I think that has to do with the tornadoes that are going on in the east. Somebody pissed off Mother Nature. I know I haven't been on here in a while. I'm dealing with my own shit. I don't know who's gonna pop in or out. I'm also going back to school soon. About 2 weeks. I love it. They redid the streets here. Yes, you finally caught alive. What's up, Hood Therapy? What's up, Toby? What's going on with you guys? Yeah, it's been raining here a lot lately in California. It really shouldn't, but it is. I'd rather have my phone on portrait mode than landscape mode, even though that really not supposed to do portrait mode. When you have your phone up and down vertically, that's portrait mode. When it's sideways, good, good. I have it back. There's a giant puddle in the sandy volleyball court. Oh, no, you're good, Toby. You're good. Thought I'd get out while it's not raining. We've been having rain for over like 2 weeks now. And these people are not liking it. Thanks, therapy. Yeah, I've been doing that, and now that I'm not in school, it's kind of harder to do. But there's no drastic change, and I don't expect there to be. I expect the weight going up and down. I expect that. While I was doing the workouts at school in the gym, if you could get it for free, why not? But when you go to school and you occupy yourself in the gym as well as your other classes, you shouldn't have an excuse for using the free gym membership at school. Really, it's just free anyway with your classes. Sure, I had to choose the day where they're cutting the grass. Oh well, I'm used to it. I'm from Washington State. I'm used to it. I just hope I don't fall on my ass this time. I did that once in Washington. It was fucking hilarious. I had to laugh at myself. It was so funny. But I'm just going slow right now because we're not in any rush. Don't rush yourself. Don't rush yourself. Just take it easy. And in California, we always take it easy. I thought about giving you guys some educational videos to try and bring up your guys' third eye higher and knowledge, real fucking knowledge. Like you're not gonna learn unless you do the due diligence. But I was like, why should I? These idiots want to be dumb. Let them be dumb. Nice to meet you too, Hood Therapy. I'm usually with Cavalli anyway. But he's going to the gym super early, and it's like his super early at 8 o'clock is my 5 o'clock in the morning. And nobody's up in California at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning unless you gotta go to work. Half the time, people are just getting to bed. Half the time, you call, wake them up, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? Somebody better be dead. Oh, look. Muddy softball dirt mixed with water. Looks like clay. Looks like clay in the ceramics. Yeah, Californians, we don't do that unless we have to go to work. We don't get up at 5 a.m. unless we have to go to work or school. Because some classes start at 6 a.m., so you have to be up by 5. Oh, I gotta get past this homeless guy. Or else I'm a sitting duck. Literally. I have to go that way too. If you can't make it in Cali, you can't make it anywhere. And it's unfortunate because not a lot of places have danger like California does. It really tests you. Really fucking tests you. Kids' playground is over that way. It's that way. That was an upload. Sage uploaded a video. Oh, I bet. I bet. When a tree falls here, it lands on a house. You don't have to ask that question in California. If a tree falls, does somebody hear it? Yes, because it lands on a house. Uh-oh, somebody died here. Let's see who it is. Oh, he probably got shot. It's usually what happens in this neighborhood. He was Mexican. Oh, poor guy. Lots of people die out here. Usually from getting shot or ran over, drive-bys. Somebody don't like someone. Mistaken identity. You name it. It happens. That's why California is not for everybody. It's kind of sad when someone gets shot, murdered, mistaken identity. You know, we don't want those things to happen, but they do. And in some places, they're more relevant than others. They happen more. We don't want them to happen more, but they do. And it's just kind of sad. Usually in the house all the time, not school hours, especially with it raining here. usually sleeping or working on a project because I still got diamond paintings. And I'm working on my little booklet keychains. I gotta buy more keychains. The keychain loops. Gotta buy more of those. But you know, it is what it is. I don't think we'll be making our goal. I already want to go back in the house. Be away from people. Far away. It is what it is. It is what it is. Expecting the weight to fluctuate. It's normal, especially when you do it all naturally. I expect my heart going nuts and not in good ways. My plans for the rest of the day is probably give you guys another live, an intelligence live. And then probably more of my art, my little booklet keychains. Zero went underground. He went back in his hole that he came out of. He totally turned off people. Said, told me before he left, people are not wanting to upgrade themselves into higher frequencies and dimensions and grow themselves higher than what they are. Fishbowl memories and 3D bodies walking on a 2D planet. And he got tired of all the stupidity drama and he left. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm still gem beating. I bought like 6 of them. I still have my mom's. I make things here and there with the beads and stuff. The dead tree of life is slowly being worked on. Slowly. Very slowly. Sometimes it doesn't even get touched. Oh, yes, I know my appointment's on Friday. I know. Probably gonna walk there. Yeah, there's diamond painting, there's beads. There's different kinds of things you could call them. Oh, I'm not ready to go in that hot house yet. I'm not ready. Yeah, you did. Diamond paintings are absolutely fun. Don't get them from the craft stores because they don't have the ones you want. Get them from Amazon and you can buy 4-packs for one price. Or 6-packs. Or just one. Or 2. And it depends on where they're coming from because some of them come all the way from Japan and China to come here. And you get like anime. You could get custom ones that you choose. I just did one. I'm doing one for my mom. It's a custom one of Glenn Close's Cruella de Vil. So that should be an interesting one. And it's a big one, so it's a 50 by 50. She's gonna have to find a custom frame for it. It is huge. Well, compared to what I've done, because I've done the little, I don't want to say 8 by 10s because they're smaller than the ones I do. It's a 30 by 40 centimeters one. And I absolutely love doing the smaller ones. I mean, they can go down to a keychain uh, one as well. Go this way. They could go down to a keychain size diamond paintings. But I don't like going that low. It's just for my eyes. And my eyes are not good. Somebody bought the house next door. I like having neighbors. And they're going to be quiet. So that's a good thing. I gotta take this palm tree down too. Half of it is dead. Maybe mornings are the best time to go on live because nobody else is on. My weight is consistent, being consistent right now at 304, 305. Yeah, crap time. My house is really, really hot right now. I could just sit there and be sweating. It's crazy. I could sit there wrapped up in my winter blankets, be overheated and sweaty. It's crazy. I don't eat much anymore because I'm not hungry at all. Still at 1 day a week. No, 1 day every day. Because honestly, you have to have some substance. I just drink water for the time that I'm fasting. Yeah, it's really hot in here in my house. Hi, honey. Hang on, I just got home from having a walk. It's cold outside, which is really much nicer than um, than being in a hot house, seeing four walls and roasting to death. But being in a hot house is also helping too because it's hot. Goal was 4 laps. That goal is not happening today. Once is fine. Once around the block, around the park is fine. It's quite frankly, it's starting to get colder. When I go out, I always have pepper spray with me for protection. This is my protection. I don't carry a gun. Unfortunately, I cannot acquire bows and arrows. Toby, I answered that. Fortunately, I don't have a glue gun right now. He has went underground and having a giant man tantrum. That's what he's doing. He's having a giant male tantrum. But unfortunately, with what men are doing these days, I'd hate to tell you this, people, but I'm probably about the only female in this world that actually agrees with the MGTOW movement that's going on today's era. I mean, if you don't like it, I. Yo, Artist Devil, what's up? Oh, yeah. Trying to educate people is exhausting. Uh-huh. Men going their own way. Yes. That's what it means. And I, other than my female counterparts, don't agree with that movement because they think that they're a bunch of incels when really they're men tired of you females bullshits. Oh, we're just like men. We can do what men can do and so much more. Bitch, no, you can't. Quit playing yourself because you can't. We can do anything a man can do. No, you can't. Stop playing yourself. And this is all coming from a woman, people. Oh, I just agree with the MGTOW movement. And men will sit there and tell you that there's some things women can do that they just can't do. And it takes a real woman to turn around and go, you know what? I can't do that. I need a man. I say it all the time. When there's something I can't do, I'm going, I wish there was a man around to do it for me because I have no clue how to do this. I mean, come on. If you can sit there and state that, then you can fix your old goddamn computer and you don't need a computer tech to do it. Yeah, I'm a bitch. And I don't agree with my female counterparts all the time. But it's okay. Because some people just don't agree with things. Doesn't mean we need to hate each other for it. No, just because I have a difference of opinion than you, I should hate you. Fuck that shit. You don't like me? Say it. I'd have a lot more respect for you if you'd say it. Don't play me. But you know, whether people want to admit it or not, they like me. And it would hurt them very badly if they admitted it to their people. I like DQ. She's good people. And I wouldn't blame you. But you'd lose your people too. You'd lose your people. You would lose your fans, lose your community if you did that. And you know why? Because of the person that I choose to hang around with and be with. That's why. Some of you don't like me. Because of who I choose to hang around with. Because quite frankly, I helped out a lot of you people. A lot. In this sector, in the drama sector. It's happened. Yes, you could see a close up of me right now because I'm putting something near the phone. Boo hoo. Cry me a river. Oh. Yes, they're all jealous. Because they don't have my crafting and art skills. They don't. They don't. And they can't do what I can do. And it's unfortunate for them. It's unfortunate for them. Not me. Okay. What I'm going to do is get set up here because I say fuck it. You are your own man. You do what you want. And they're only telling you that because they don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to have that ability to. I've seen a lot of portraits. You're going to have to be more specific in that. Oh, it's on his It's on his channel. He is an artist, a drawing artist. I think they call them illustrators now instead of just drawing artists. I think they call them illustrators now. Since when has it changed? Keep it the same as it always been. We know it differently now. We know it from drawing artists. Yeah, say it's on his YouTube channel. It's a short. The Mexicans are talking. I should put up an email address where you guys can send me your crafts and I can display it on a live. Mm. Unmute this. Still an echo. How about now? Nope.
Vikings, as the late Iron Age Scandinavians are known today, left a permanent mark in history. They have risen to newfound fame in today's world through popular culture, fascinating people across the globe with their gods, myths, and sagas. Widely featured in movies, video games, and TV series, Viking religion is often portrayed in a simplified manner that can be quite far from the truth. Stories about their gods and myths are also offered online and offline, sometimes owing more to wishful thinking than solid academic research. All these different sources can make it very hard to get closer to the truth of what went on in the Viking mind. Viking Age religion and worldview is a very complex subject, so we met with Professor Neil Price of Uppsala University, who is a leading specialist in the Viking Age and the pre-Christian religions of the North. He is a distinguished professor of archaeology and currently directs a major Swedish Research Council project on the Viking phenomenon. Professor Price is also the author of The Viking Way, that focuses on the pre-Christian Norse religion and magic based on both literary and archaeological studies. It is considered by many as one of the most important contributions to Viking studies. You will now get a glimpse into what went on in the Viking mind, their worldview, the importance of ancestors, the nature of their religion, gods, and the invisible population around them. We will take you to Old Uppsala, a mythical place of kings and gods, and to Valsgärde, one of the most important burial sites of the time and age. We will also bust 3 common myths about the Vikings.
The study of Old Norse religion, the ritual, spiritual life of the Vikings, is a massive subject. Hundreds of scholars have studied it for at least 2 centuries. It's hard to summarize, to get an overview of it, mainly because it's so complex, it's so varied. There is no single religion to get a grip on. But what we can do is take a deeper dive in particular aspects of it to explore these different expressions of the Viking mind. One of the most fundamental questions is, where does it come from? How old is the belief system of the Vikings? There are images on rock carvings engraved into the rocks of Scandinavia from the Bronze Age, so we're talking thousands of years before the time of the Vikings, that superficially resemble some of the gods, some of the heroes of the later myths. So a large humanoid figure with what looks like a hammer, a huge person with a spear, those kinds of things. Is that Thor? Is that Odin? We simply don't know, but it's clear that at least some of the stories of the gods and so on go back further than the time of the Vikings. There seem to be elements of Roman religion, perhaps even the religion of the Greeks, that have filtered into these ideas that were circulating in the north in the Iron Age. This is not surprising. Scandinavia was intimately connected with the continent far back in time. Scandinavian soldiers worked as mercenaries for the Romans and brought back ideas and objects and beliefs with them to their homelands when they returned. There's been this constant flow of information, of perspectives, of views of the world. And it's not surprising if these things end up in a kind of mishmash. So there's little bits of this and that you can find in Norse religion that has come from other places. But in the end, as an overall package, if you like, it is something distinctly northern. It's clear that some aspects of Viking belief are very, very old indeed. Just to take one example, something that literally ties it all together, the World Tree. This is Yggdrasil, the steed of the terrible one. It refers to Odin. This is a great ash tree that links all the different parts of the Norse world.
Sorry, just stop it there. What he's talking about of this tree is kind of like how we see the tree of life. We have symbols of the tree of life. We have images of the tree of life. This is just their version of the tree of life that is connecting all the Norse worlds together. Just like we see in the movie Thor with Chris Hemsworth, I think. I think that's his name. I'm not sure, nor do I care to know. Again, the Rainbow Bridge in Odenheim. Yeah, I'm not too keen on comics and stuff, but it was actually based off the comics and the movie were actually based off Norse religion of Thor, Odin, Loki. It's all Norse mythology. Just like you have Hercules, that's basically Greek mythology. Another form of freaking religion right there, just in Hercules alone. Some people would say he was a mortal man. Yes, you could if you don't put religion into it. But some people would say he's another form of Jesus. Shut up. If some of these people could understand what it is they're worshiping, they wouldn't be Christians anymore. I mean, we all know that the church doesn't pay taxes at all. They're on a non-tax bracket, 401c3. It's all donations and stuff. Yet they choose to not only put their money towards their households, new cars and stuff, but they're also a big supporter of and contributor to the human trafficking that goes on in this world. They're actually a big supporter of that. So think about it, people. When you give your money and they're talking about, oh, give us your money. We need money for this and that and this and that. No, it's a lie. They're telling you that we need your money to contribute to our evil people that are our friends and sell women and children every single day around the world to our pedophilic government. Because unfortunately, people, church and state are not separate like they're supposed to be. That's why church is the biggest scam that you could ever play into. Think about it. How much money in a year do you fucking give to a church, knowing that your money is probably even not even going to what they're claiming it's going to? And half of it is in their own pockets because, quite frankly, the leader needs a cut. I mean, how many times are you going to play into the fact that you're worshiping and being a part of evil people? I'd question myself after that. I'd question myself. I'd question who I'm giving my money to at that point. I mean, I'd rather give it to the ASPCA, like I've already done for the new year. Next month will probably either be St. Jude's or the Shriner Foundation. And the Kennedys actually did that because they had a disabled sister that the father wanted to be normal, but she was just not normal to his standards. But her brothers and sisters loved the hell out of her, and the extended families loved her. Her name was Rosemary Kennedy. She was an absolute delight. And the Shriners / Kennedys actually invented the Special Olympics because of their sister. I mean, her father put her through the worst shit imaginable. I mean, oh my God. She ended up getting her female organs removed. I don't want to get her mixed up with Princess Anne. Not Princess Anne, Princess Alice. Philip's mother, late Philip's late mother's stuff, because she was around when Sigmund Freud was around practicing. And I say fraud because he is a fraud. He is not what they claim he is. Yes, he's the father of psychology, but he was a fucking idiot. He was if you read up on Sigmund Freud and look at his practices, oh my God, he was a fucking idiot. The only thing he actually did right was the talking method of therapy, where you lay on a fucking couch or sit on a couch for a good hour talking about your shit. Anybody can do that. But the types of experiments he would do to people, oh my God. It was just completely stupid of him to what he did to Princess Alice. Let her have her belief. You don't need to have everybody be normal. There's no such thing as normal. And what's normal to you isn't normal to somebody else. Z always told me a good line when people say, well, let them be normal. I want them to be normal. What normal is for a spider is chaos for the fly. I mean, it's just that simple. And let's go back to this.
Worlds together. So Asgard, where the gods live, Midgard, our world.
Jotunheim, where the giants live, Utgard, Hel, all of these others. They're joined together by the branches and the roots of the tree. There are creatures that live on the trunk and run up and down. There is a well at the root where the Norns live, the women who decide the fate of humans and others. So it's this world tree that links the Norse conception of the universe together. There's an Icelandic scholar who thinks this might actually be the Milky Way. If you've ever been fortunate enough to escape the light pollution of our cities and see a really clear night sky, the Milky Way can fill the heavens with a kind of enormous band of cloudy light. It's not hard to see this as the tree. But the idea of a single column, a pillar, a support that holds up the universe is found in culture after culture across the northern world. So many, in fact, that there isn't any direct connection between them, going back millennia. In other words, it's a very, very old idea, perhaps even going back to the early Stone Age. That's something that has certainly survived into the worldview of the Vikings. You find it among the Sami and others of their neighbors as well. So this is just one of many elements that have come together to build this uniquely Viking view of the world. Another question concerns, how did the Vikings relate to this other world or other worlds and their inhabitants? How did they get in touch with them? How did they talk to them, communicate? We're used in our religions of today to holy buildings, churches, mosques, synagogues, whatever, along with holy books and holy men and holy women who interpret them. The Vikings had nothing like that. Their relationship with the others, the supernatural others, if you like, was very personal. There were certainly intermediaries. There were ritual specialists, for want of a better word, people who took charge of casting lots or casting the runes, things like that. But nonetheless, people had a very direct relationship with this world. There is something called blot. It means, it's sometimes translated as sacrifice, but that doesn't really capture it. It's a transaction. It's a negotiation. You usually perform this with some kind of animal offering. The blood is sprinkled using a twig or a bowl, something like that. We don't know much about the details. But in some way, it's a gesture of respect and of perhaps a request for better times or an outcome that you might want, something like that. Something that's very clearly important, really at the heart of this, is, it's hard to find a word for it. The Scandinavian, the Old Norse word for it was seidr. It means something like magic or sorcery. And it seems to be similar to what anthropologists later called shamanism. A set of rituals and practices that involved sending out the soul of the performer, sending out the spirit to ask questions or to communicate with the other worlds, with their inhabitants, to pursue a particular set of objectives. Imagine the performer of seidr, the sorcerer, if you like, as a kind of engineer, and the different kinds of Norse magic as tools in a toolkit to get the job done. And it's those people, almost all of whom were women, who were the primary communicators between the Vikings and this other world. A tremendously important job at the center of the community. The Norse creation myth is incredibly complicated and hugely contradictory.
Now, what he meant by that was the women were held at that high of standards because they believed that women could get in touch with that side uh, of the spiritual realm a lot easier than a man could. I mean, a man can still do it, but it was much easier for a female. And in actuality, it was. It was much easier for a female to conduct with the gods because it was more pure of heart. And my needle keeps dropping. And you can't, I mean, yeah, according to Christianity, women are the source of all evil. But yet, whenever you need a woman, where is she? Right there. Women were mothers, and women were held at a higher pedestal back in Norse mythology than men were, because there's the 3 cycles of a female. You have maiden, which could be child to before even the childbearing years of when a female starts her period. You can have that. But it's also mother of cycle is when she has children, her pregnancy. If you look at photos or statues in the magic stores, metaphysical shops, you could find a statue that has 3 females on it. There's maiden, mother, and crone. Crone just means a better term for old lady, an elder, a senior citizen, a female who has lived the majority of her life, that she's now not only a grandmother, but a great grandma or a great great grandma, depending on which one you're looking at. And these types of religions don't discriminate against color or ethnicity. It's just depending on what you see as an individual. If you resonate with one religion more than the masses do, then you're probably that religion. Some of it is just not Wicca. That's New Age shit, and that's Gerald Gardner's poisoning of the pond bullshit. I mean, even half the time you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Because his shit, no. You need this, and you need this, and you need this to pull this spell off. No, you really don't. You don't need all these requirements just to make a spell come into manifestation. Tell me when you are able to come on to the live. You're not driving or anything.
it really embodies the problems of studying
Norse mythology, where you have lots of different stories that are not compatible at all. They make no coherent sense. At the end of this, there is at least clearly two families of gods, the Aesir and the Vanir. The Vanir seem to be older. These are gods that include Freya, the goddess, and her brother Freyr. Whether the Vanir are a relic of an earlier set of beliefs or the beliefs of another people, those are just two theories, we don't know. After a time, after a war, actually, they combine with the Aesir gods, this is the gods of Odin and Thor, to form a general family that also seems to be generally called the Aesir. And it's this family of gods that we find throughout Norse mythology. At the end of the war between the divine families, one figure comes to the fore, Odin. Often said to be the lord of the gods, the highest gods. It's not quite true, but he's clearly a very, very prominent figure, a complicated figure, a being of contradictions, quite a guy. At the heart of what Odin is, what makes him who he is the life of the mind, knowledge, wisdom, and the quest for those things, and not least the price he has to pay in order to get them. Most of the tales about Odin concern this search for truth, for the inner realities behind the surface, whether he's buying the gifts of poetry, whether he's seeing into the future, whether he's working out what will happen at the end of the world, what will happen to his son, why is his son Balder so disturbed with nightmares. All of these things in their different ways represent Odin's ultimate quest to know it all, with a clear-eyed recognition of what that is going to cost. Something very special at the heart of the Viking mind. Today, we talk about the Norse myths. We can buy collections of them in our bookshops, conveniently put together in a package that tells us about Norse religion. But the thing is, for the Vikings, they didn't know they had Norse myths. What they had was a collection of stories, a living world of tales that changed and shifted from one teller to the next. And we've kind of fossilized that into a concrete form in our books, simply because that's what survived to us. But at the time, it was much more organic, a wonderfully varied world. And they lived inside that world of stories, depicting it on the walls of their buildings, in tapestries, in carvings, in their art, on their skin, everything. Everything around them was part of what we would call religion, but for them was everyday life. When we think about the great cult sites of the Vikings, the ritual centers of the North, one of them is more famous than all the others, Gamla Uppsala, Old Uppsala, where we are now. It's mentioned in a lot of sources from the Middle Ages and onwards, in some of the sagas and so on, but there's one description above all that is at the center of what we know about this place. It's come down to us from a German cleric called Adam of Bremen, who was writing in about 1070. So it's quite late, at the very end of the Viking Age. And it's one of the things that makes his description so remarkable, because this is a century or more since Denmark and Norway converted to Christianity. But here in central Sweden, paganism appears to still be in full swing. What Adam describes is a whole suite of different activities. There is a sacred grove, there is the sacrifice of animals and humans, there's a holy well, there's all kinds of cult buildings, there are enormous ceremonies that happen every few years, every 9 years, lots of things like this. One of the most striking parts of his description is the central temple building. And it's from this that a kind of myth of Viking temples has grown up. According to him, it was a great structure entirely covered in gold with the idols of Odin, Thor, and Freyr inside. Where was this temple? Did it actually exist? People have looked at it for a century or more. There was an idea that it must be under the church, the medieval church built in the center of the site, because wasn't it logical that the church would stand on the place where this great cult building had once been? When the church was excavated in the 1920s, there were different kinds of post holes found under the floor. And everyone started playing a game where you can join the dots of these things and put together all kinds of strange buildings. The problem is that these post holes are from different periods in time, so you can't join them up to make any kind of coherent building. We simply don't know what was underneath the church. Was there a cult site there or not? But there is a clue in Adam's description of the Uppsala temple. He's writing in Latin, and the word he uses for the space where the idols of the gods are kept is triclinium. And that word means dining room. And bear in mind, Adam is translating into Latin. Presumably, it's something like a feasting hall. And one of the things we know is here at Gamla Uppsala is the great feasting hall of the Uppsala kings. This is a replica of one from Lejre in Denmark. It's kind of Denmark's equivalent of Gamla Uppsala, but the appearance is quite similar. And one of the ideas that's coming through a lot now, that it's finding a very wide acceptance among researchers, is that actually it's the feasting halls themselves that are the holy buildings of the Vikings, where you have the kings and the rulers of the halls holding court here. Part of their function is as the representatives of the gods on earth. In other words, it's within the feasting halls of the lords that these ceremonies are taking place. So it may be that it's the Gamla Uppsala hall, effectively a kind of palace itself, that is the building that Adam is describing. He has lots of rather lurid details, perhaps not lurid enough. Towards the end of his description, he says that everything that went on here was accompanied by festivities so obscene that it's best to pass over them in silence. And I kind of wish he hadn't, but that's what we're left with.
Old Uppsala is an important archaeological site located outside the city of Uppsala. Today dominated by 3 huge burial mounds, it was once the seat of Swedish kings and one of the most important religious, economic, and political centers in Scandinavia.
Okay, let's bust a few myths. Number 1, all dead Viking warriors went to Odin in Valhalla, Valhall. That's not true. First, only the best of the warriors went to this special afterlife, and not all of them went to Valhall, the Hall of the Slain. Half of them ended up with Freya, chosen by her for her hall at Sessrumnir. This is what we get from the Eddic poems that contain a lot of our knowledge of Norse mythology. In fact, most people, men and women, so far as we know, went to Hel, which was not at all the bad place that it sounds like. It wasn't a Viking hell. It seems that this is where the majority of all of them went. Myth number 2, all the Valkyries were beautiful warrior women. That's not true either. That image comes from the later poetry and the sagas, the idea of the Valkyrie as a sort of exciting subversion of medieval romance. If you go back to the Valkyries' names recorded in the early poetry, the poetry sung by the skalds in the hall, they seem to be personifications of battle in its rawest, most terrible form. So their names mean things like sword time, spear noise, all kinds of words for terror and death and violence and loud noise, the chaos of a Viking battle. And these Viking Valkyries didn't, the original Valkyries, if you like, they didn't swoop gracefully down onto a battlefield to carry away dead heroes. They were unleashed on it, personifications of just how bad Viking hand-to-hand combat really was. Myth number 3, that the Norse gods represented functions. Thor.
Now, you can actually sit there and go, yes, there were women on the battlefield. That just proves you had women on the battlefield. And for so long in the American population, frickin' women were casted out of being in wars and on the battlefield in our military. That women didn't belong there. Bullshit. If you can do it just as well, you should be able to do it. If you're sitting there proving yourself that you're just as good as a man on the battlefield, you should be able to be on the battlefield. But if you're not, then stay as a homemaker, because battle isn't for everyone. Fighting with your sword and shield, with your gun, that's not for everybody. And women, some women knew their places. Well, all women knew their places. Whether if you were on the battlefield or in the house, cooking and taking care of the kids and cleaning up your husband's bloody clothes. Some men stayed at home because their wife was out on the battlefield. And a lot of women were trained to be on the battlefield. Boy, I cannot pick up anything today. Well, needles are hard to pick up anyway. Let's get back to this.
As the god of thunder, for example, Odin as the god of war. That's not true. They were not gods of anything. They were personalities. Odin was the magician, the sorcerer, the inspiration for kings, the poet, the protector of outcasts, a lover, a seducer, a trickster, all of these things. Thor was strength, violence, war, yes, prosperity, all kinds of things. People would have identified with the personalities of the gods according to their moods, according to their needs, rather than their functions, which we have really put on them. The gods lived in Asgard, the place of the Aesir, the family of the gods, up in the sky, connected to our world by the bridge of the rainbow. Asgard seems to have been pretty much a kind of god-sized replica of the middle place, of the human world, but still quite distant. We should not think of people praying to the gods all the time or going to regular rituals. Instead, for most people of the Viking Age, it was much more common to interact with all the other creatures, the other kinds of beings with which they shared the world, this world, a kind of invisible population that's actually much more familiar to us today through folklore and fantasy fiction. Still at Gamla here we are on the other side of the Great Mound Ridge. And it's a good place to talk about the other inhabitants of the Viking mental world, because the people of the Viking Age shared their lives with an invisible population of beings and creatures and spirits familiar to us today from folklore, the works of people like Tolkien, fantasy fiction, but in the Viking Age, very real. These are the elves, the dwarves, spirits of the land, of the rock, of the air, of the water, of the frost, of fire. Also trolls, ogres, all kinds of things like this. A teeming world of invisible beings. And actually, I think that it was this world that was probably more important to people in their daily lives than the larger, more distant world of the gods. So I don't think you would have met Odin on a Saturday night, for example, but you'd have been very careful indeed to put some butter on that stone behind your house for the elves, to make sure that they would look after you, that they'd help your crops to grow, that your animals wouldn't get sick, all of these kinds of things. They also held special festivals, Alfablut, for example, a kind of offering rite in the halls, in other places too, to keep all of these invisible creatures on their side, to make sure that they would live in harmony with them. It's important not to see this as a kind of cozy nature worship. The natural world of the Vikings was a rather terrifying place. It was something they had to deal with, something they had to keep on the right side of if they wanted to prosper or even just survive. But it's something that lived a long while after the shift to Christianity, surviving in folk tales and stories, and even in some parts of Scandinavia today. People still talk about the creatures in the forest, the things that live under the ground and so on. That part of the Viking world, the Viking mind, is still with us today. We're in the middle of the grave field of Valsgärde. It's a few kilometers north of Gamla Uppsala, and it's a good place to think about the ancestors, the ancestral dead. This is a place where people have been burying their dead for hundreds of years before the Viking Age and right the way through to the 11th century, the end of the Viking period. It was very important to be close to your family dead. People were buried around the farmstead, around the landscape of the farm. And what you get here is burial mounds marking generation after generation of the leading families of this area. And the interesting thing about this is that not everybody got a grave. We know that there's a significant proportion, academics argue about exactly how much, anything sort of 30% to 50% of the population that doesn't seem to have received a permanent grave. So if you got a grave at all, you were an important person. You were someone to be remembered. And this idea of communicating with the past of your family, with your ancestors, is really important. So if not everyone becomes an ancestor, who does? Why? It seems that the ancestors are kind of role models for not only for living people, but perhaps almost for the dead as well. When you become an ancestor, you become part of that world of stories, the myth world that the Vikings constructed around themselves. Even Adam of Bremen, when he talks about the gods being worshipped at Gamla Uppsala in the temple and so on, he says they also worship heroes who have become immortal. He's talking about ancestors. So even he understands that this ancestral dead are part of the world of gods, with the invisible population around them. They're part of this myth world. So people not only lived through it, lived in it, they died into it as well. And speaking of ancestors, on the ridge behind me are the great boat graves of Valsgärde. If you've ever seen a cover of a book about the Vikings with a helmet on the front with elaborate decorations, it's probably not a Viking helmet at all. It's one from here. This is the centuries just before the time of the Vikings. So the the late 500s, the 600s, the 700s. And along this line of the ridge, a series of boats dug into the side of the hill, facing towards the river just behind me. Boat graves packed with objects, with weapons and armor, equipment from the hall, from the kitchen. There's all these lots of animals sacrificed around them. They're like little dramas in miniature. If you imagine how one of these graves was created, imagine a sort of funerary play, a piece of theatre enacted at the graveside, each one telling a story, putting this dead person in this place at this time into that larger narrative of the ancestors, not only for the benefit of that dead person, but for the community that buried them as well. So that was just a few words, the tiniest window opening onto the world of Viking religion. It's one of my special fields. I think it's one of the most exciting aspects of the Viking period. It's important to correct misconceptions about Viking religion. It's also important to understand how much we don't know. And personally, I think the fewer illusions we have, nonetheless, the more exciting the mysteries that remain. There's lots more to know. Thank you for listening.
Något kallar från ovan, gudarnas ro.
Well, that was a lovely song. This crazy. And I love it. I love being crazy. That's interesting. Making boxes out of cardboard boxes. And all you're doing is using fabric, glue gun, and cardboard. Interesting. Hmm. Hmm.
I love the way we do it.
I want somebody that's gonna listen to me. Write me a love letter.
There's room for two. You make me sad. You make me want to drink.
I need more of that emotional connection.
Yeah, I had the wildest dream last night. Let me draw it out for you.
I need another one.
Isn't this beautiful? I love the way we do
I
it.
want somebody that's gonna listen to me. Write me a love letter.
There's room for two.
You make
That was so stupid. That's not even how Pisces act. I know, I'm a Pisces. No! We're not doing that.
Recordings
No.
just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are...
We are not doing that. $130? How in the hell are you still alive? That's a lie.
The zodiac signs and many other astrological concepts have roots in Greek mythology. Ancient Greeks were fascinated by the stars and constellations in the night sky. They gave great meaning to the cosmos by aligning each sign of the zodiac with a god or goddess. The date of your birth determines your horoscope and zodiac sign. Your astrological sign will influence you throughout your life by affecting your moods, desires, and personality traits. Which Greek god or goddess is associated with your zodiac sign? Understanding this information could help you harness your inner powers and reach your true potential. Aries, the god of war, is representative of this strong and eager zodiac sign. If you're an Aries, you likely share many of the same traits as this fierce god. Individuals born beneath the Aries constellation are motivated by power, ambition, and courage. Taurus is aligned with the Greek goddess Hestia. People born with this zodiac sign are practical individuals who crave peace, stability, and comfort. Hestia is the perfect goddess to represent Taurus, since she is known as the humble protectress of homes. The constellation and zodiac sign for Gemini have rich roots in Greek mythology. If you're a Gemini, you align with Athena, the goddess of wisdom and military victory. Furthermore, you will also feel a connection to the mythological twins Castor and Pollux, who share their names with this constellation's two brightest stars. Geminis are characterized as being adaptable, communicative, and resourceful. The Greek goddess Artemis, ruler of Cancer, is also sometimes known as the moon goddess. Artemis symbolizes the empathetic and nurturing nature of this sign, since she has magical powers of healing and immortality. People born beneath the sign of Cancer will carry the protective powers of Artemis within themselves wherever they go. Zeus, the king of gods on Mount Olympus, is a powerful figure in Greek mythology. If you are a Leo, you may struggle to balance your ambitions and impulses. Much like Zeus, people born with this sign are motivated by success, energy, and power. The goddess Demeter is the ideal embodiment of the gentle, maternal Virgo. Demeter is the goddess of the earth and the protector of a bountiful harvest. Similarly, Virgos are guided through life by their sensitivity, empathy, and ability to nurture. If you are a Libra, you are cosmically linked to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. This enchanting goddess of love possesses many of the traits associated with the Libra zodiac sign. Aphrodite and individuals born beneath Libra are charismatic, passionate, and skilled at communication. Hades, the god of the underworld, represents the mysterious powers demonstrated in Scorpios. This zodiac sign is often associated with secrecy, boldness, and passion. If you're a Scorpio, it should fill you with pride to be aligned with such a uniquely powerful figure. Dionysus is the perfect deity to represent the fun-loving Sagittarius as the god of wine. People with this zodiac sign are passionate, flexible, excitable, and love to entertain. If you are a Sagittarius, you may feel a spiritual connection to the wild and spontaneous Dionysus. Capricorns are aligned with the Greek god Apollo, ruler of the sun and master of supernatural healing. This zodiac sign is greatly influenced by a desire for safety and security. Much like Apollo, Capricorns are ambitious, intelligent, and practical. People born beneath Aquarius are cosmically linked to Prometheus, the god of creation and forethought. This alignment will grant you abilities related to communication and teamwork. Furthermore, the constellation Aquarius is also associated with Ganymede, the mythological son of King Tros. Hera is a complex figure in Greek mythology that aligns with Pisces by representing fertility, emotion, and passion. People born with this zodiac sign are heavily influenced by their moods and inner desires.
Okay, that last one I could believe. Because quite frankly, my dumbass believes I'm a...
The zodiac signs and many other astrological concepts have roots in Greek mythology.
Fuck, why are you doing that again?
Were fascinated by the stars and constellations in the...
Don't do that anymore. Not interested in that anymore. It's 11:11. Yes, angels, I know. Somebody's here to visit. So we're doing that. Then we'll come over here. Turn on YouTube on my television.
excited to announce that local
I can
This is actually an awesome song to have sex to. This and Forsaken. You ever have sex with these songs? Forsaken and this one. It's a definitely bonded song. Ooh. I hope the man I choose to bond with again, like I used to, it's gonna be to this song. It's gonna be to this song. This will be the song I bond with a man with like that. This is my ultimate bonding song with a man.
On October the 4th, my daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhamnoid tumor on the spine. We have been going to doctors here in Louisiana.
These songs are from Queen of the Damned. Blinding, always blinding. Take my hand now, be alive. Cannot be forsaken, because I'm not the only one. I'm amongst you, feeling waiting, as we hide from everyone. over it. Can we be together? Taking so long, taking out on the mask. Last I say, there's fading, I can speak it, or else you will dig my grave. Feeling finding, always whining, and I am now alive. I cannot be forsaken, because I'm not the only one. We walk amongst you, feeling raving, as we hide from everyone. I cannot be forsaken, because I'm not the only one. We walk amongst you, feeling raving, as we hide from everyone. 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 You're aggressive lately. Show me what you want to taste me. What you want to taste me. Don't go crazy. I don't mean like that gun. We're not going to be like that. We're not going to be like that. We're not going to be like that. We talk. Stop. Open up. We talk. Open up.
She love you, but she wanna taste it. Fuck a bitch, money's all I'm chasing. Catch me with the gang going crazy. Like an icon. Moving on these niggas like a icon. Your bitches love me feeling on the right gun. Me on every nigga like a cyclone. She give me top. She do the squat. I keep the mark. Take off your top. You don't go pop. Fuck up the option. Niggas are feeling like an icon. Moving on these niggas like a icon. Your bitches love me feeling on the right gun. Me on every nigga like a cyclone. She give me top. She do the squat. I keep the mark. Take off your top. You don't go pop. Fuck up the option.
That was Juno Lost Chaos, people. He's an up-and-coming artist.
Don't judge me, Anton. Alcohol free.
I found him on Facebook, and I've been loving his music ever since. Oh, look, we're going to have RuPaul. Yes, RuPaul has made music.
Everybody this town. Who's that girl? A fly ferocious lady. Get up and dance. Get up and dance. Do it, oh, my girl say. Welcome to the jungle. She's so wild, so animal. She's gonna work that sexy body so sexual. She's like a female phenomenon. She's a phenomenon, female phenomenon. She's so wild, so animal.
Run for your lives! Giant Glamazon have invaded planet Earth!
She's like a female phenomenon. She's a phenomenon, female phenomenon. Ladies, boys, and girls, and those who dream to rule the world. Smoky eyes, chill lips, still at it on. Now break it down.
She's so bloody tall.
Cool. Don't forget music. Any artist can actually work and do multiple things at once. And music won't even distract them.
Let's do this roll call. It's freezing up here. Blase, where you at, Blase?
It's Blaze!
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be.
Blaze?
So y'all don't want to play, huh? Well, guess what? I'm not animated. I'm from.
Another Juno Lost Chaos song.
Yo no entiendo por qué. Why can't we smash and stay friends? ¿Para qué complicar las cosas? Si de esta manera está bien. Yo no quiero amarte, solo quiero saciarme. Las ganas que tengo yo de tocarte y besarte. We don't fit into taste. Solo dime si estás dispuesta a hacer esto conmigo.
I have no clue what he said. Spanish was not a requirement when I was in school. It's not even a requirement now.
So many wild dogs getting on all stress. I know you wasted time, so you stuck on your ex. Solo tú me llamas cuando me quieres en tu cama. Y como un héroe yo llegaré para rescatarte, girl, it's my nana. Shawty calling me a god, yeah, she's so wet, I walk on water. And she think I'm perfect, and these niggas always trying to find change in her mama. Picking you up, taking you down. I'm swimming, I'm digging it deep, girl. Yeah, I think I'm gonna drown. Shawty, you taste really sweet. I wanna go 10 million rounds. It's Ramadan, baby. I got you like seconds. You better my dog on my heart. Yeah. Why can't we smash and stay friends? Para que complicar las cosas. Si de esta manera está bien. Yo no quiero amarte, solo quiero saciarme. Las ganas que tengo yo de tocarte y besarte. We don't street is a touch. dispuesta a hacer esto conmigo. Won't be on it. Solo dime si estás dispuesta a hacer esto conmigo.
Yo no estoy para nada en serio. Yo lo que quiero es jalarte por el pelo sin miedo. Vamos para el duelo. Girl, if you down, then I'm down. Just don't call me your hero. After we're both done, remember this is just for fun. I ain't tryna have your daughter or son. I know that I'm not a saint, you ain't no none. I'm just tryna make you come while I come. Amigo con privilegios, sin atadura. Yo estoy seguro, dime si tú estás segura de vivir una aventura lleno de locura.
Entiendo por qué. Why can't we smash and stay friends? ¿Para qué complicar las cosas? Si de esta manera está bien. Yo no quiero amarte, solo quiero saciarme las ganas que tengo yo de tocarte y besarte. We don't strings attached, won't be on that. Solo dime si estás dispuesta a hacer esto conmigo. Won't be on that. Solo dime si estás dispuesta a hacer esto conmigo.
Otto, right? OTT. You don't hear that name very often. I do. A Man Called Otto is irresistible. Nice to meet you. Tom Hanks.
Another Tom Hanks movie.
I have a cat. A Man Called Otto. Rated PG-13.
See, this is what they turn out to be when they're like this and done. So when I put the paper in there and then I go to close it, it'll look like this. And then this will go here, and there'll be a keychain right here. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what they look like at the end. I have some more, but they're already packaged up. But they'll have the paper in here. And then it'll be like stacks of paper. It'll be like stacks of paper in here. It'll look like a book as a keychain. They're not going to be this thin either. There's going to be like bunches of paper in here. And then this will be closed right here. And it'll just be a keychain. These will be $10 when being sold. And as you can see, I have a lot of them ready to go, just being stuffed their papers and packaged up and stuff. They just need the papers closed up, sealed up, and packaged. And until I get a bigger glue gun, they'll be like this. Senpai.
My soul is surrendered by a sucky list. All the sisters who took it from the way I spit. Fell in love with this. Just got music, now she in my grips. Wanna take a sip of her only signs that six. No questions asked. Always left, only smash. Trying up my sis got team. Get up, put off in your ass, boy. I ain't talking about the DOA, but shotty jiggle physics on the level of a yachty man. Okay, we acting out the more broken. Shouts out the time I put them tactics sounding sexy. Tell your lead try come and test me if that nigga wants a beat. In the sheets that he got, but in the streets I'll be the chillin', watching hands. I will go to niggas cold highs like a stress mini side and socks for the me high. Hey, come to just follow only. Close your eyes, promise you will love it. Just relax tonight with you. And you feel like all these moments for me. Working on her guys, just they went for her. Starting some Hawaii and would die for her. Riding, watching tie all the time with him. And you feel like all these moments for me. Working on her guys, just they went for her. Starting some Hawaii and would die for her. Riding, watching tie all the time with him.
Don't ask me what that means, I don't know. I don't know what senpai means. Although Nightcore is a really good band. I'm afraid to Google it too. I'm afraid to look at the Urban Dictionary at it. That's how I don't want to know. I'm afraid. Looks like I could look it up, but I don't think I want to find out what it is. I don't even think I want to even put it in the Google Translator. That's how scared I am. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. It just sounds too... I mean, it could be what I'm thinking it is, but I could be wrong too. I'm hoping my curiosity don't go crazy, because this one will kill the cat. When they say curiosity killed the cat, some things when you look up, it literally kills the cat.
Tweets just eating tiny tacos and drinking a Red Bull in the school parking lot, which gives me an idea.
Oh, Jack in the Box.
And 2 flavors that go great with
That
tiny
makes
tacos.
that restaurant puts people in the hospital. And I'm not kidding. I know somebody that got put in the hospital because of Jack in the Box. Yes, people, I am very eclectic in my music. This is what you call Hawaiian music. Now, I've never taken hula lessons, but I'm kind of figuring the females are supposed to be as loose and flexible as the waves, and the men that do it are supposed to be as strong and stern as the mountains. I'm not too sure because I never took hula lessons, but I'm guessing. It's my assumption. I could be wrong, and I'm open to that. I'm open to being wrong. Kind of made me want to go watch Lilo and Stitch.
6 in the morning, nigga, at my door. I'm trying to figure out what he out there for. Last time I seen him, he was talking shit. Found out his new girl can't suck no dick.
Oh, shit.
In the time, I ain't let him in. Pussy nigga lucky I ain't fucking his friends. Probably thought a bitch would be down and out till he see me rock and brown in that chromed out bin. South Beach nigga, you ain't about that life. You cross that bridge, they're taking all that ice. You don't want no problems with them boys from the bottom. Strip your ass butt naked and hit the turnpike. You's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My bitch been said it. That's why I should've let your best friend get it. We went on trips, you bought Chanel, but money ain't shit when you soft as hell. Cause you's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My mama even said it. Got a new nigga, I ain't even gotta sweat it. You still gon' talk, and that's a goddamn shame. But a hoe gon' be a hoe, and the lane gon' be a lane. Fuck boy. You never heard me asking niggas for shit. You be on the gram asking niggas for pics. Can't believe I let you waste all my time. Now this fuck boy on my voicemail crying. Running around town with your bum ass hoe. But I'm the blueprint, that's why you at my door. She my number one fan, that's what makes it sweet. Bitch, you do anything for a fucking retweet. South Beach nigga, you ain't got that life. You cross that bridge, they're taking all that ice. You don't want no problems with them boys from the bottom. Strip your ass butt naked and hit the turnpike. You's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My bitch been said it. That's why I should've let your best friend get it. We went on trips, you bought Chanel, but money ain't shit when you soft as hell. Cause you's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My mama even said it. Got a new nigga, I ain't even gotta sweat it. You still gon' talk, and that's a goddamn shame. But a hoe gon' be a hoe, and the lane gon' be a lane. Fuck boy. Nigga, you ain't got that life. You cross that bridge, they're taking all that ice. You don't want no problems with them boys from the bottom. Strip your ass butt naked and hit the turnpike. You's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My bitch been said it. That's why I should've let your best friend get it. We went on trips, you bought Chanel, but money ain't shit when you soft as hell. Cause you's a fuck boy, fuck boy. My mama even said it. Got a new nigga, I ain't even gotta sweat it. You still gon' talk, and that's a goddamn shame. But a hoe gon' be a hoe, and the lane gon' be a lane. Fuck boy.
How do you grab some OJ?
Which one?
They're all the same.
Actually, Florida's natural is different. We're a citrus co-op, which means we're owned by the farmers and their families. Florida's natural.
Always been a powerful force. Not just starting trends, but transcending them. Because when we magnify the beauty in all of us, our world becomes more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Baby, I'm a million. Hey, yo, King.
I need $1 million gal. I got you. Let's go.
$1 million girl, for sure. $1 million girl, baby, I'm a million. If I want it, it's all getting slow. $1 million girl, for sure. $1 million girl, baby, I'm a million. You know big money, I get that. Got my feet up when I kick back. Get made to bring for my check. Got Miss Carrie, baby, on this stretch. What colors in this season? Think I'll go tear up millions. Miami in the morning, be in Central, pay to see me. I know you like my style, my $1 million smile. In any party, red carpet, bed, I shut that down. Don't hate, just go get yours. No excuses, no more. I just dropped another hit, cause I'm that $1 million job. If I want it, it's all getting more. $1 million girl, for sure. $1 million girl, baby, I'm a million. dollar sale. I know I got you feeling. These shapes is YSL. These heels ain't hot till next season. I'm in that P Ferrari. I got a thing for Porsches. I like my men like my car. Strong and built like horses. Glass I do bow. I'm far from average. Rich and lavish. That's why I am the baddest bitch. If I want it, I got it. Cause I'll get it. I'm a $1 million girl. I'm a $1 million girl. Baby, I'm a million. A million. If I want it, I got it. Cause I'll get it. I'm a $1 million girl. I'm a $1 million girl. Baby, I'm a million. A million.
Always been a powerful force. Not just starting trends, but transcending them. Because when we magnify the beauty in all of us, our world becomes more beautiful. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Money over everything, that's my attitude. Still the baddest in the game, that's my attitude. Talk to your man when I get ready, that's my attitude. Yeah, I'm blowing stacks, I ain't petty, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. And I feel like I'm the yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. I feel like I'm winning. Yeah, that's my attitude. Money over everything, I'm all about my change. I'm still rich, still the baddest in the game. This all them blame. And I ain't gotta say it, you already know the name. See, I'm still running over, still feeling over again. Your husband and your boyfriend, I don't see none of it. I wrote the CEOs and stop nothing again. Why you be riding around town with the fuckers again? I'm filthy rich, my money talking loud. I don't hear you, here let me turn it down a bit. I feel like I'm about to marry my money. I'm so in love with it, yeah. Money over everything, that's my attitude. Still the baddest in the game, that's my attitude. Talk to your man when I get ready, that's my attitude. I'm blowing stacks, I ain't petty, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. And I feel like I'm yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. I feel like I'm winning. Yeah, that's my attitude. Come and do your thing, shawty. No, I ain't mad at you, but you can't hang with me. I'm more better than you. My waist skinny, my more better than you. Sorry for me, cause see, that's just my attitude. Get on my level. You ain't know my latitude. I got plenty cribs, no telling where I travel to. You think you living good? I got a better view. Condo on South Beach, Villa in Malibu. I hate to brag, but I got 100 in that new Louis bag. Pull up in the Benz with the paper tag. I got that swag, jealous, y'all the bad, cause I got everything they wish they had, yeah. Money over everything, that's my attitude. Still the baddest in the game, that's my attitude. Talk to your man when I get ready, that's my attitude. I'm blowing stacks, I ain't petty, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. And I feel like I'm the yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. Yeah, that's my attitude. I feel like I'm winning. Yeah, that's my attitude. MOE, that's that amount. If you ain't got no money, take your broke out. You talking a couple hundred, better leave me alone. Me diamonds and black cars, ain't the dollars for the show. Come on, I'm on the paper chase. My man's pepper straight. He took me to his house. Welcome to the city. Oh my God, he make it hard to keep a straight face. I got him on his telling me.